This morning we are here to talk about our new workforce development program led by our very own Ms. Pam Croom. It is entitled Portsmouth at Work. We're very excited about this and where this is going to take us from an economic standpoint. We're also very pleased to have with us a moderator this morning that needs really no introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. Mr. Tate Counts from the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to say thank you, Tay, for taking the opportunity and the time to have this discussion with us. Very excited to hear the questions that you have, and I'm going to turn it over to you if I could.
Thanks, Robert. I really appreciate that, and it was a privilege and an honor for y'all to ask me to moderate today. Since we're all amongst friends, I mean, I'll tell you, Portsmouth Economic Development is probably one of my favorite group of people in the 757. I look forward to any opportunity to get to partner with y'all, and appreciate everything you've been doing and all of your success within the city of Portsmouth. I've been with the chamber for about 3.5 years, and I got to tell you, it's been great to watch you all do what you've done in the city in the time that I've been with the chamber, and you're all a bunch of rock stars in my book. So I appreciate all you do. But this is less about me and more about Portsmouth at Work, and some of the great opportunities this is going to create within the city of Portsmouth. So with that, Robert's got to introduce himself a little bit. I want to make sure we bring on Pam Croom, who is going to be directing this effort. And Pam, if you would mind taking just a quick moment to introduce yourself and maybe give some people a little bit of background about yourself and what's brought you to this role today.
Well, thank you, Tag, and it's an honor and a privilege to see all of you this morning and to be in this position that I was hired to do. I am originally from Hampton, Virginia. Actually work for the city of Hampton in the Economic Development Department, and also worked as their workforce development manager. And so with all the great work that was taking place here in Portsmouth, especially during COVID, I took the opportunity to apply for this position because I saw all the good work that was happening and all the potential for this initiative to assist our Portsmouth residents with receiving these great job opportunities that were coming along, help align some of the regional initiatives to what was happening within Portsmouth, as well as help our small businesses. I have a background working with the City of Hampton's SWAM program, our Small Women and Minority Business Office. And so being able to continue to do that work as well. We were one of the only cities with a recognized program for a long time, and to be able to bring some of that work to Portsmouth, where we have an abundance of small businesses who are looking to grow in this time and in our region and in our city. So it was a great opportunity. I am also, workforce is very near and dear to my heart because I am also the president of the Virginia PTA, which governs all of the parent organizations in our schools. And so that has a direct correlation to this work, as we need to help parents and students understand the pipelines, the job opportunities for them in their local communities as well as within our state. So that's a little bit about me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Pamela. Leave it to Robert to bring on an overachiever and all you do for not only the 757, but all for the Commonwealth. So thank you so much, Pam. So Robert, can you talk a little bit about kind of what was the catalyst for getting Portsmouth at Work up and running? Can you give us a little bit of background on how that got started?
Yeah, certainly. So, we really started this workforce development kind of initiative back in 2018. It started as what we called Hire Portsmouth, HIRE, and that stood for Helping Individuals Reach Employment. really at that time what we were trying to do was to bring together all the folks that are doing workforce development, because there were a lot of people doing it, but there was really no cohesion in Portsmouth. There wasn't a connection. We had schools needed assistance, but we had training opportunities and dollars over here, and they just weren't connected. So we took our first step into that, and we were somewhat successful, but not where I think we could have been. So when you start looking at COVID and you start looking at the job markets as things start to ramp back up, we certainly have several large projects coming into Portsmouth, whether it's the casino, whether it's offshore wind, and then here soon, coming, June 15, if I'm not mistaken, the governor is going to lift kind of the ban, if you will, on the number of restrictions on the number of folks being in restaurants and things of that nature. So you're looking at hospitality jobs and things coming back. We really wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to take advantage of those, again, opportunities, and make sure that we can make a difference in the quality of life of our citizens. So when we sat down, we really came up with the initiative of Portsmouth at Work, to make sure, that we get outside of what is the traditional economic development in my eyes. We always do the typical announce the project, create the jobs. We're going to take it a step further in Portsmouth economic development and make sure that we're filling those jobs as best we can with our Portsmouth residents. So we want to make sure that they're trained and ready to go for all these opportunities that are coming. So that was really the thought process behind.
That's wonderful. Well, and Pam, can you get into a little bit of the specifics about what's going to be available at the center?
Absolutely. So the Portsmouth at Work Center is a collaborative effort with the City of Portsmouth and several of our community partners. What we will be having available over there are career pathway training opportunities. So these programs offer direct hard skill and soft skill training programs. We have specifically talks about our retail and our restaurant. So we have a hospitality customer service training program that would be available. And we've all heard of the shortage of bus drivers with HRT. So we are excited to have a partnership with Hampton Roads Transit on training our bus operators for jobs to help decrease that gap for them, that gap in employees, that loss that they're having there. All of our programs actually will be direct hire type opportunities, training programs. There's not a program that doesn't lead to some type of career for the individual taking those particular programs, whether it is increasing skills. We all know that digital literacy is a skill that every employer is looking for. So there are opportunities for individuals to be upskilled in digital literacy, as well as having our computer lab, where if you already have particular skills, but need to have a location, a quiet location, to come and look for jobs or to register with our partners with their resources and services, we have a computer lab where you can come in and work from there or receive assistance if you don't know quite where those resources and services are. We're here to help you get on the correct pathway to be able to obtain the career opportunity that you seek.
Wonderful. And I'll tell you, full disclosure, I got a little sneak peek of the facilities in preparation for this call, and I got to tell you, it is a beautiful, well laid out. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? We're good? Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful space. I know we're going to be doing an opening soon, but it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous workspace for the people who are going to be using it. Pam, can you hear me now? Okay, it sounds like she may not. Robert, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. So since I know I've got you on the line, can you talk a little bit about who within the workforce is going to be eligible to participate within the programming?
So this is open to all Portsmouth residents. So the thought process is when we create these jobs. So I'm going to use the casino as the elephant in the room kind of situation. That's 1,300 jobs, permanent jobs that will be coming to the city of Portsmouth. And so we got to make sure that, again, as best we can, those opportunities are available to the folks here in Portsmouth. So anyone can come in, and let me also explain. There's two parts to this. So there's an in-person training, but then there's also the ability for virtual trainings, as Croom spoke of. So why we're excited about this is because our citizens can take part online or come to our space. And where we are, because the space is located adjacent to our office, there's direct access for us. There's an opportunity for us to stay open as late as 7, 8 o'clock at night to conduct these trainings for those individuals that may work during the day. There's something for everyone. And as Ms. Croom just stated, we're creating career pathways. We're not just giving you the training, we're taking you from training to job opportunities. And we've seen the success in that already. The virtual training started back on February the 4th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're talking from the 4th of February, and these numbers are as of May the 4th. We've had 91 participants in the program. 16 of those participants have already been direct hires to positions. So you're talking almost 20% of the folks that have come in an 8-week time frame have gone from training to job. That's a great opportunity. And that's a great way for us to continue to build a pipeline, not just for the casino, but for any project that comes in or anyone that wants to upskill or better themselves. Because the purpose of this is to, again, better the quality of life of our citizens. And the best way to do that is make sure that not only that they have an opportunity, but they're prepared for that opportunity.
That's wonderful. And Pam, can you hear me now?
Yes, I was having some technical difficulties on my end. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. The number of times we probably heard this over the last 18 months via Zoom or meetings.com. I mean, it's we're all getting used to going with the flow. So along the lines of the programming, I know we've had a few people in the chat asking about like healthcare, for instance. Can you talk a little bit about the realm of programming from the standpoint of the industries that you're going to be focusing on, and how those industries are determined? How quickly are you able to pivot to fit the needs of a particular industry?
Absolutely. So for Portsmouth at Work, our center is set up for very quick turnaround job training opportunities, those that are 6 weeks or less, to get you those basic job skill trainings that you need, such as the hospitality training in the transportation industry. There's a nurse's aid program. We have the hospitality and customer service work from home programs actually will give you the opportunity to transition to any front office, any commercial, retail industry job opportunity. We also have a partnership with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, where individuals who need that additional higher level training, where we're able to get them in to actually receive additional assistance in receiving those training funding that is available through the WIOA funds, and where they are able to choose vendors that are within that system to actually go and receive that additional training if need be, or for those higher level training classes.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. And Robert, Pam talked a little bit about funding. So what are the funding mechanisms for the center and the programming that you're offering?
So one thing you haven't heard us say in this entire conversation is that is the cost of this to the citizens, the individuals taking advantage of these training programs, and that's because there is no cost. These are free, and we're doing our best to continue to make sure that these programs are free to our citizens. Um, and we've been lucky enough, and I'm gonna say blessed. I'm not gonna say lucky, blessed to have a great economic development authority that has put in significant dollars to get the space ready. And let me back up and tell you where the space is, because that question has come up. So if you know where our office is, 200 High Street, Suite 200, we have now taken over the entire second floor of most people call the town bank building. So half of the space, Suite 200, is the economic development office, and then Suite 201, that entire other side of the building, is all the workforce development space, commonly referred to as the Portsmouth at Work Center or the At Work Center. Again, that space was funded by the Economic Development Authority, as well as through some community development block grant money that we will be receiving from the city. So this is a city effort in putting this together. But again, with those funding mechanisms and opportunities, we've made sure that the programming is free to our citizens. And that's a great advantage that we have when it comes to the center.
That's wonderful. And Pam, when you kind of look at this big picture, you all have gotten off to a pretty quick start. Obviously, things are going to be adapting even more so as things change. I mean, in June 15th, we're probably going to be opening up a little bit more than we are now. So over the next year, 2 years, kind of what's your vision for how the programming may change, how the physical location may adapt? Kind of what do you see in the future?
So right now, we are set to hold up to 30, 40 individuals in the center. The work will take place in cohorts. So we will train based off of the needs of the individuals that register for our programs and run those programs accordingly. Right now, it really is about rebounding and getting our residents to work as quickly as possible with those quick job skill training opportunities. And then as we progress, the partnerships that we hope to continue to incorporate, like HRT, are those direct hires working with our employers specifically on getting individuals ready for a job by providing those training programs that they need for those employees, and really getting into those higher level training programs because once you work with your community and start turning around the unemployment and the underemployment, which is a huge focus for our community, is to look at the next step. And that next step is, how do we move those individuals to that next level? So being able to pivot and provide that higher level training, opening up more partnerships with our partners, with our education institution, TCC. Portsmouth is a huge partner of this program as well. And so it will continue to evolve. Actually, creating those pipelines with other partners in the community who are working with individuals that need to be brought to the next step will also be part of this process as we move along, to where maybe there's the assessment pieces that are done outside of the facility, but all of the training takes place here in our location. If we outgrow it, I guess that's a conversation for our city council, or moving to another location. I know Robert would love for it to be that I am saying I just don't have the space to be able to provide the current programs that we have. So the goal is always to grow, that where we start is not where we finish. I can see within the next couple of years that we will have migrated to that higher level training opportunities, but still offering some of those programs that are needed as individuals enter the workforce.
That's wonderful. And you referenced this in passing with the local educational institutions. And you and I talked about this a little bit last week. Um, can you discuss at all any of the partnering that may be done with, say, Dr. Bracey's school system, TCC, any of the higher ed, and how that dynamic would work either now or into the future?
So I currently am working, I am on the CTE advisory committee. So I am working already closely with those individuals. Sorry, there is a feedback going. I'm trying to figure out how to cut this feedback. I am on the CTE advisory committee, helping and assisting Portsmouth City Schools with connections to employers, that is, and trying to bridge that gap between program offerings and connections to our office as well as the employers. With TCC, as I stated, we look at Portsmouth at Work as an entry point for our residents who don't know how to receive services and where to actually how to get started.
Yeah.
And so our program actually helps guide you through those processes. And so I also on the Work Solutions Advisory Board for TCC, and working with them on what are those programs and services that need to be offered in the community. How can we better partner and align the resources and services that we have to ensure that residents know what's available and how they can actually register and sign up, how to get that process started. So we do all types of services here to make sure that you're on the correct pathway.
That's wonderful. And talking about those services and kind of getting back to some in-person participation, you and I had spoken about the ability for other local partners who do some similar services to also be able to come on site, such as Jim Carroll with Small Business Development Center, Sean Avery with his team at Workforce Council. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Absolutely. So as you stated, we have, or I've done a lot of work in these last 6 months. I started here back in October. I was very familiar with a lot of the agencies and organizations on the South Side. I had relationships with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council through my work on the Peninsula, and being a former board member of the Peninsula, Greater Peninsula Workforce Development Board, and then being a part of that, the whole talks about merging. So that served well in coming over and being able to set up that alignment here in Portsmouth. So what we have created here is the ability for individuals from the Workforce Council to work out of our space, to be on site, to provide resources and services, to meet with individuals. For our small business community, when we run our training programs, entrepreneurship program that will come online for those that have skills that are ready to actually branch off and open their own business. We are working with the Small Business Development Center, which is Jim Carroll, Deborah Farley, and Bill Holleran, who will be offering on-site assistance as well as some virtual training opportunities for those that may not be comfortable coming in, but we'll be running those in cohorts as well. So we're all learning together and bringing in entities such as our banking institution for those financial literacy and credit worthiness classes, as well as providing opportunities for our educational partners to come in and be able to do some on-site work. We are looking at some partnerships right now with our healthcare industry, with individuals being able to come and host those programs here, as well as information technology. We all know that that's a growing industry in our region, and we need to create that pipeline. That is one of those pipelines that is missing. We're not growing it as fast as we need to grow it. So we want to make sure that we are providing that opportunity and being a part of that solution. So with the partnership with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council and Portsmouth at Work, we will be working with some of their IT vendors to be on site to actually provide those training opportunities.
That's wonderful. And Robert, your team has done an exceptional job in the last 5 years of really growing the business community within the city of Portsmouth, bringing in not only new companies, but new businesses and industries as a whole. One, obviously, within hospitality is going to be the initiative with the casino. But the other big one that I don't know that we've mentioned much about is the offshore wind. And I'm sure there's some other industries in the future. Can you talk about how the dynamic between your team within economic development and attracting new business and the pairing with Portsmouth at Work is going to be able to further expand that pool?
Certainly. So, you know, when you add the workforce development piece, when you add Portsmouth at Work, that's a game changer, I believe, for us as a locality. And I think workforce development as a focus changes our competitiveness in both the region and from a regional standpoint, against other states. Because when you have that pipeline, when you have those individuals ready for those jobs, because let's be clear, the city of Portsmouth has over 50% of its land as being non-taxable. So we don't have a lot of land. So there's not a lot of projects. We have to be strategic in the projects that we will land and that we will focus on. But what will make us even more competitive is when you have cities like a Norfolk or a Chesapeake that may land that big user. That user still needs people, and it still needs to be able to hire. And a lot of times, as we've seen from the pandemic standpoint, even from a weather standpoint, companies still need to keep going, even though there may be things going on around them. So whether it's, again, a stoppage of work because of weather or because of a pandemic, they've got to have people, and they like to have people now close to them to be able to make those things happen. So when folks are hiring, when companies are hiring these individuals, they're looking for people that can be within a 45-minute radius as far as a drive is concerned. We want to make sure that whatever job is created, not just in Portsmouth, but in Hampton Roads, our folks are ready and able to take hold of those positions and really, again, change the quality of life, change the median income in the city of Portsmouth, change that poverty rate, change the unemployment rate, change the underemployment rate. All of those things can be affected by giving someone the right opportunities and the training for those opportunities. We just want to make sure we do it. Ms. Croom has talked about extensively this morning the partnerships. You've heard me say in the 5 years I've been in Portsmouth, we can't get anything done. We can't do our jobs in economic development without relationships, without partnerships. So when you start talking about Hampton Roads Workforce Council, when we start talking about the chamber, when we start talking about TCC, the schools, the list goes on. The ecosystem is here, and we're taking that and we're really refining that and making sure that we as economic development are taking advantage of those opportunities. And then when you add the rock star, as you called her, Ms. Croom, obviously she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing, and that's the element we were missing in this office. And we're going to make sure not only that Portsmouth has the talent, but that Portsmouth Economic Development has the talent to do all the things we're talking about doing. So listen, all of this over the last 6 months has been Ms. Croom. Ms. Croom has been, boots on the ground, hit the ground running, and focused on getting this up and running. And I will tell you, I think I was supposed to save this for later, but we're having an open house for the center. The center actually opens next week. Next Friday is the first official day of opening. And I'd like to invite all of you out at 12 o'clock for this open house. We gave you just a little sneak peek. Croom could go back one slide. We give you a little sneak peek of what you're going to see. at the center. But next week, 12 o'clock, we're going to have an open house. Certainly, we've got some capacity things. You got to wear a mask and so on and so forth. But we want you to see the space. As takes, this is going to be a phenomenal setup, and we've put a lot of care and attention into this space to make sure that it's something for everyone. It has a computer lab, actually 8 computer stations, where someone can come in testing, someone can come in and update their resume, somebody can come in and apply for a job. We have it all as a one-stop shop, but it's also an opportunity for individuals to not just gain employment. It's also an opportunity for the small businesses in our city to come learn about some resources, whether it's through SBDC, whether it's through with SCORE, number of different groups that can come in and help individuals, especially now. We're at the end of Small Business Week, and for all the small businesses on this call, we thank you for everything that you've done in the city of Portsmouth and throughout the region. This is our way of giving back. This is our way of making sure that you continue to thrive and making sure that we have that pipeline, as you stated, Tay, for the future.
Yeah. Well, and for you talk about the small businesses and coming in and utilizing some of the resources, and we've talked about some of the big industries that are going to have some workforce needs. But can you talk about for some of those, say, small to medium-sized businesses that are established, but they do have workforce needs? Can you talk a little bit about how did they go about creating that partnership with your team, and kind of what that would look like, say, over a year's worth of invested time?
So, I think the first thing you got to do, reach out to our office. One thing we strive to do, and we try to make sure we do, is we're available. We make sure that we answer our phones. We make sure that we answer emails and so forth. But for the small to medium and even the entrepreneurs, we want to make sure that we are a resource. So over the next year, we're going to be rolling out programs that focus on, based on the size of your business, what you need in order to be successful and, again, continue to grow. If you've been to our website recently, you've seen that our kind of tagline is, Portsmouth Economic Development, the smart move for business. We want to help you start, locate, and grow kind of situation. So we're rolling out programs that make sure that we focus on, if you need to have that hire, if you need to figure out how can you expand your business, whether it's through marketing, whether it's through resources, we make sure that happens. Even from an entrepreneurship standpoint, we actually have a boot camp that I don't think Ms. Croom brought this up, but it's a boot camp that we have essentially that teaches you how to start a business with less than $1,000. Okay, and part of that program is when you finish that program or that boot camp, you end up it sounds like somebody's in their car on the way to the Portsmouth Ad Work Center as we speak. But when you go through the program, we actually then sit you down with SBDC. We then sit you down so that you end up with a loan ready as possible business plan. And then the final caveat to that is we're working with our Economic Development Authority to then potentially provide you $1,000, provide you those resources to get your business started. So again, we're looking to do the one-stop shop, but we can't do it alone. We need the businesses to contact us. We need our partners and those individuals in the workforce development arena to get with us, partner with us, so we can make this the best program it can be. We started it, but we're going to need that ecosystem to really make it grow and continue to sustain.
Perfect. Well, as you said, you've got a rock star team, and there's no doubt that this is going to continue to grow and be a successful venture, not just for Portsmouth, but quite honestly for the entire 757, because as we all know, the better we do as individual municipalities, the better we do as a region, and y'all have been a great catalyst for that the last several years. So with that, we've gotten through our questions pretty quickly. Leave it to Pam and Robert to be nice and thorough and get this moved along. But I do want to make sure that we throw out any opportunities for our attendees to ask any questions that they may have. I want to make sure this is covered thoroughly as possible. So if anybody has any questions, please let us know. And Pam, for those who want to get in touch with you directly, how do they contact you? What's the best way to reach you?
So the best way to reach me is through email, Croom, that's CROOMP, at portsmouthva.gov. 757-393-8804 is my current number. I would also like to take the opportunity to say that with the partnerships, we don't want to just leave it at that our partners are just entities that are in our workforce realm. We look for individual partners within our community. We are looking to create a neighborhood peers network where individuals can come to a designated meeting to listen and learn about what programs are available at Portsmouth at Work, what programs are going to be available so that when they are out in the community talking to their neighbors, because as we know, a lot of this work, those of us that are in this realm know that it really is about boots on the ground and a real grassroots effort to get to the individuals that need the resources and services. So we'll be looking to host those opportunities for individuals to actually get more training themselves on what this program is and the information to distribute. And if there are entities that need us to provide them information on Portsmouth at Work, they can actually contact me as well so that we can get information over to them to be able to distribute to the individuals that they work with within our community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Pam, you bring up a great point, which is the fact that I think sometimes within the business community, we kind of get in our own little pools of connections, and you tend to forget that we all communicate, we all partner so well, so we get the word out amongst ourselves. But the key for most of the successful programs like this is getting it into the community. I use the example that I want to be able to walk into the mall, talk to 100 people, and have at least a core group of those people understand or already know about a particular program or an initiative that we're doing. So for this to be truly successful, we really need everybody to be a champion, to be a voice of these programs so that the entire community is aware of it and aware of what we're offering. So thank you for mentioning that. I did see Nancy Stevens, I believe. Did you have a question or a comment? I don't, she didn't come off, but I do see a comment from William Taylor with Chick-fil-A. Will, good to virtually see you, my friend. He said, would it be possible for my team to come and teach a class on restaurant professionalism? How could we work together to make that happen?
Absolutely, Mr. Taylor. During our training programs with our cohorts, we actually do invite individuals from the various industries to come in and actually talk about expectations of employees and what employers are looking for. So thank you for that comment. And, I already have you on my list, as well as I would like to extend to the individual businesses that are on this call, such as we've done for Mr. Taylor with Chick-fil-A. We do have social media sites for Portsmouth at Work on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where we actually share job opportunities with the community. So if employers contact us and let us know about those opportunities, which helps us when individuals are actually seeking services and looking for employment opportunities, that we know who's hiring in our community. So we have that here within the center, but we also offer that service to our employers to be able to post those opportunities out on our social media sites.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Tate, and you can find those opportunities under Hire Portsmouth on those 3 social media outlets.
Perfect. And Will, I can tell you, you bring some samples from Chick-fil-A, we'll have a line out the door around the block. We'll be all the way down High Street. So So I think we can make this work.
I believe it. Okay, that sounds good to me.
Good to have you, my friend. Elizabeth, I see a comment. We'll reach out to help entrepreneurs and retailers grow in Portsmouth. So thank you so very much. Jeanette brought up the healthcare pathway focus on medical assistance, or CNAS, I think was the question. And I'll defer to you, Pam.
Absolutely, we are looking for partnerships, because in the end, we need to connect individuals to employment opportunities. So while we were doing our virtual training program, we had the nurses aid, the temporary nurses aid training that the state allowed, given that so many entities needed nurses aides, PCAs. And so we had a lot of individuals, about 16 individuals that went through that program, who have either already obtained a job or are looking for a job. So it's always important that we have that career pathway and offer that opportunity, whether it is in connection with an employer that will train, and we actually refer individuals over for that training opportunity, or we have created that opportunity, that training opportunity, and need to connect them to an employer.
That's great. And I believe, I don't know if Nancy was able to come off mute, but she was saying that she'd like to let everybody know about Connecting Opportunities, which is powered by the Elizabeth River Crossings. And yes. I believe part of the Workforce Council Centers. Nancy, are you on the call?
Yes, can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, good, thank you. Elizabeth River Crossings has, through their foundation, has granted us funding where we can fund 30 individuals a year, and they are residents of Portsmouth, Norfolk, and Chesapeake. And it's in the skilled trades. All the training is done at their skilled trades academies in Portsmouth. And they've added some new classes besides the NCCER core. They have HVAC, they have welding, they have roofing, carpentry, and all the funding is paid for. We cover the funds and cover the steel-toed boots if needed. We could come out to the center, Pam, and do a group eligibility if there's interest in getting a group together to get the class. I'm working with TCC right now on the start dates of the upcoming classes. But it'd be a great opportunity for your population, your youth, 18 to 24-year-olds, your adults who are in the Alice community, they're working but making probably two jobs, not enough to get benefits, but not enough to pay all their bills. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for training in the skilled trades. I'd love to be able to partner with you on it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy. I mean, once again, one of our main focus is the underemployment as well, recognizing that there are individuals that have job skills, but need to be upskilled in order to move to the next level. So several of our programs actually focuses on that. We have our START program, which our Smart Start credential program that actually offers that opportunity, as well as offers the ACT National Career Readiness Certification, which is a certification that basically says that you're eligible to do 88% of the jobs in the country. That profile has been done by ACT, and that credential signifies to an employer that you're trainable. It was a credential that was highly recognized by the maritime industry, and is a pre-identifier as well for them. So we're excited about bringing along those opportunities to the residents to get them to that next level. So Nancy, I look forward to working with you on that.
Perfect. See, we're creating partnerships already.
That's what it's about.
That's it. Well, I'll give it just a few more seconds if there are any questions, but one more time just to make sure Robert, the open house is next Friday at what time?
Open house is next Friday, 12 o'clock, from 12 to 2. Stop by with your mask. Come see the center. Very excited about it. Very excited about the opportunities to partner. I see our good friend Matthew James put a comment in. Love to get some assistance at the state level as well. We want to make this as big as we can for Portsmouth and for the region. But we really want you all to see what we've been working on, and really Ms. Croom has been working on for the last 6 months. And I think this is going to be for us one of the defining moments in Portsmouth economic development, because we're going to be able to really make sure that, again, we're making that impact. Because when we talk about diversity, when we talk about equity, when we talk about inclusion, centers like this are what's going to make that possible. So next Friday is May 14th, 12 to 2. Again, 200 High Street, Suite 201. We're right across the hall. You can't miss us. Once you get on the second floor, we're there. So we look forward to seeing everyone.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Pam. Thank you to everyone that's on the call today. Again, the collaboration and the partnerships is what's moving us forward in the 757, and Portsmouth's leading the way. So thank you for all you're doing. And if there are no more questions or comments, I'm going to give everybody 10 extra minutes of their Friday. So, I mean, go get an extra cup of coffee, relax, and to all those on their next Zoom call, good luck. But y'all have a great morning. Thank you all again. And thank you for letting me moderate today. It's always a pleasure to work with your team. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. Next business, Let's Talk Business is June 4th, 10 a.m.